Hello, I'm Wes Crawford, and I want to demonstrate a playthrough of my game called Engine Thieves, the Andrews Railroad Raid of 1862. It's an American Civil War raid game, and it's better known as the Great Locomotive Chase, which one of the raiders, William Pittenger, actually wrote a book with that title, and Disney created a 1956 film on this topic based on the book. And our focus today is the playthrough, so I'm just going to show you enough about the components so you know what's going on. We have the main board here, and this represents the area from Marietta, Georgia, all the way heading north, and then the board starts again here, south to north, south to north, south through Chattanooga, ending in Bridgeport. And in history, James Andrews was a Union spy, and he convinced Union General Mitchell to let him take a band of, started out with 24 raiders behind enemy lines, Confederate lines, and all the way down to Marietta at the beginning, like we pointed to. They spent the night there, got up, bought tickets for a train, got on an engine called the General, and they acted like they didn't even know each other. They went to the first stop, Big Shanty, about 6 a.m., and as everybody else got off the train to go eat breakfast, they stayed on and stole the train, hoping to burn bridges, which on this board are the blue ties, and also to damage track and to cut telegraph lines, which is a yellow line connecting all of these. Doesn't connect all the stations, but it runs along them, and thereby destroy the capacity for the Confederates to bring up reinforcements and supplies, and cutting off communications between Atlanta and Chattanooga as General Mitchell was planning to advance on Chattanooga. So we're going to do the historical scenario today. I'll point out a few things first, though. There are dark gray trains. These have special rules. This was a single track between, in our case here, Marietta and Chattanooga. And so the only way trains can pass is through a station. And you'll see all these are stations with names. And so the actual history in Chattanooga, they heard that Mitchell was approaching, and they were not as nearly well prepared as the Union thought they might be there. So they started sending trains with supplies and people south, evacuating parts of Chattanooga. And so they'll be coming down. James Andrews, the spy, the leader of these raiders, does not know the exact train schedule. He thinks he knows part of it with when all the trains would be heading south, and he can accommodate that. But twice as many trains ended up coming south that day. It's also true that the raiders delayed the attack, the stealing of the General, by one day because rains were so bad they couldn't get enough of their members in place. So we're doing the historical scenario, and I will show you what that means in just a moment, how it's different from other scenarios and just the basic game. Over here on the status mat, we have each turn representing 15 minutes with various events in red at different points on the timeline, starting at 6 a.m. and ending at 4 p.m. We have an alarm level starting at 1 and getting as high as 10. Over here, we keep track of how the pursuers, because not only were people coming south on trains to get in their way and make life difficult, but the actual, if you can see their pictures right there, and we have their ability cards over here. We have Conductor Fuller, Foreman Murphy, and Engineer Kane. When they saw their train being stolen, they ran after the train. They followed on pole cars, and they followed on any trains they could commandeer. And so the raiders are being chased by a determined foe, and having a hard time getting through stations at times because of all the trains and the traffic coming south, and it's one way, so it's a bit dangerous to even go up the track if you think a train's coming down. So we have here is represented down here in cards is the general. This is the engine, and you can see there are 2 engineers there and a leader. Now there are 4 people up here. You can't see but 2, but there's both stacked. And these were raiders that did not make it. 2 of them were taken in outside of Chattanooga and forced to enlist because their cover story was they were all heading to Atlanta in pairs and in small groups to enlist, saying they were all from Kentucky and they didn't like being there and wanted to enlist. So when they 2 of them said this near Chattanooga, they were forced to enlist immediately, and 2 others made it to Marietta, but they were so late that when they fell asleep, they did not wake up, so they missed the train. So we have 20 raiders, including the 2 engineers, James Andrews, and back in this boxcar, we have 17 more raiders. These are actual counters of each raider historically in the raid. The tender in the middle carries the wood. Have to have wood, and you have to be careful how much wood you use on this in this game. All right, so show you what we're going to do. Historically, we're going to take the cards from Marietta that represented what really happened. And I happen to have it right here on top. Henry Green Cole, Union spy and hotel owner in Marietta. And he knew the train schedule at that time and gave it to the most updated schedule to Andrews. So we'll play this here. And what we have on board, besides the dark gray trains that have special rules for their movement, we have these stacks of counter here called train schedule stacks. And we don't know what's underneath them. They're all upside down. They're randomly placed, but there are, 6 trains coming south, and there are other kinds of encounters that can happen that can waste their time or give them trouble, as the raiders. And I have little wooden trains on them. They don't come with the game. I bought them from Etsy, and they came from Poland at a very good price. So I like the idea of having little wooden pieces, but they don't come with the game and you don't need them. So what I get to do is turn over 6 encounters. Now I'm going to go over here, and this is train schedule stack A. I'm going to turn over the first one. It's a green disc, if you can see, green circle. It's going to go here in the challenges section of this station. I'm going to turn over another. It's another green one. We put them in order. Of course, they're both the same, so it doesn't matter. And I want to thin out these stacks so not as much comes to threaten me at the same place at the same time. So I'm going to do 2 from up here, and this is just one strategy that you might use. There is a train. So I'll try to show you this counter. I don't know if you can see it. It's Freight Train 2. We put it in front of the stack. It's still in the same station. We'll turn over another, and it's another train. So now we know where 2 trains are. I'll show you how that works in a moment, how they move. We don't know what the other 2 are. And like I said, I want to thin these out a little bit. So I'm going to go down here in Dalton, where this train schedule stack C begins. We turn 1 over. And good, this was a time waster. We're using intelligence to find, from the spy, to find out what the latest schedule is. We can get rid of this. This was going to cost us 5 minutes. Not a biggie, but it helps a little bit. And if any time wasters on here, we can get rid of it. This is a big time waster. It can cost us, that is, up to 15 minutes, the hourglass. So we do get to get rid of both of those, which is helpful. And so we still have these stacks here. Now that's the beginning. Now if we draw this card, and like I say, we chose it because this is the historical scenario, this really happens, says we have to pick up 1 big shanty card if you did this in the regular game and you're drawing Marietta cards. And I put the 1 for the historical scenario. We do what really happened to them. The damper was left open on the general, on the train, And so we have to roll 2 dice. If we get a 2 through 4, we raise the alert level and turn over the top Confederate unit, and they attack us. Otherwise, the problem is fixed, and we can continue in history. We're allowing a little variance from history. I'm going to roll these 2 dice, and we got an 8. So it turned out historically. Now, in this top right-hand corner of every station, they're upside down little gray units. And those are military units. We sort of CSA units, we refer to them as in the rules. But they can represent anything from a couple of guys with hammers to a real small military unit with rifles. It's trained to trainees to anything. And but they are a threat to the raiders. Okay? So you don't want to activate them by arousing suspicion. All right, so now we're going to take our first turn. We have a whole set of action cards, and I'm hoping you see these. They're color-coded. Blue ones are for movement. The number on the card tells how many minutes it takes, and we have to plan out 15 minutes of actions in advance. The green one is for challenges and encounters when we run into trains coming south or other kinds of encounters. And anything to do with adding wood is brown. Things that give us victory points, because we are trying to accumulate enough victory points to win. We really just need 16 victory points. And you'll see a little number next to the bridges. That's how many victory points they're worth. And we'll get 2 for cutting the telegraph wire, 1 for damage track at the end of the game. So these are cards that can get us points and delay anybody following us. Then the red cards, you'll particularly use this combat attack one, but the others are in peculiar situations. If we run into a situation, these are violent cards, so to speak. The yellow ones just slow down the people following us, but they don't gain points. Finally, end game type things. The black ones are abandoned train if we're out of fuel and can't go any further, or we just feel we need to do it because we're about to be overtaken by troops or something, and remove a barrier. If a telegraph message gets all the way through to Chattanooga, barriers go up in the telegraph stations. Or one nice little thing we can do, if we for 15 minutes don't do anything and stay still, we can rest and plot, and that will give us more persuasion cubes and things like that. Okay, so speaking of persuasion cubes, over here on the status mat, we have 20 of these blue cubes, and I'll show you how they work in a minute. And so, our first set of actions. Let's move for 5 minutes, and I'll show you how this is going to work. We have to plan all 15 minutes out first, though. I'm going to go medium. It go 2 spaces, and it uses 3 wood. Basically, the longer you go at a more medium speed, the better your mileage. So I'm going to place that there, and underneath it for the second action, I'll place a green card for challenges and encounters, and then I'll place another movement card. All right, so we'll have a stack, and we have to go through in that order. The rule with the action cards is this: you do them in order, and you can repeat any card, but it takes the time it says on the card to do so. So right now I put down 15 minutes worth of actions, but if I decide I want to do one of these cards more, I might not get to the bottom cards. The only other rule there is about these action cards is you can insert at any time, because the situation might change, that combat attack card for 5 minutes at a time. And if that comes up, we'll show you how to use it. And so the first thing we do, we move 2 spaces, and here's the blue general. We go 1, 2, and we are in Moon Station. And I have to give up 3 wood out of my tinder. So I'll just put them with this supply over here. And there are 45 maximum wood counters. You start with 30 in this game. because there's some distance from Atlanta where the train actually began before it even came to Marietta. Okay, so I was going to tell you about telegraph stations. They're down here at the bottom. Anything with a yellow box, and it also has a little telegraph key in it. Those are the only stations that had the capability to send or receive telegraph messages. And so if these guys running, this is Fuller, Murphy, and Kane, FMC as we refer to them in the rules, if they ever, on any kind of transportation, and their other means are listed over here, if they ever do catch up to a station, they're going to warn everybody immediately. If they ever get to a telegraph station, for instance, and the line has not been cut up ahead, then they're going to send a telegraph message, and the Chattanooga military train will load up troops and come south and try to stop the raiders, and barriers will go up in the other telegraph stations, all of them, which are very hard to bypass, and you have to defeat all the troops. So it's really a bad situation if they're warned ahead, just like in real life. All right, so we moved 5. We can put this card back, and now we do a challenges and encounters. Actually, I'm skipping something already that's important. First thing, we're in the station. Next to each station is a number in a circle, and that's the challenge value of that station, because the raiders, all hiding in boxcars except for those in the engine, like the Andrews and the engineers, they have to fake their way through. They don't want to raise an alarm, or they don't want to get attacked by any troops there or other people. So they have to fake their way through. The 6 means, and I do this for free, it does not take a card. When you enter a station, the first thing you do, so I have to do it before this green thing, is to roll 2 dice. And a challenge works like this. I'll roll the first time. I got a 7, so I did fine at that station. I passed it. I faked them out. They think I'm just normal train. Andrews had a story saying this was all right after the Battle of Shiloh. So he says he's taking special, gunpowder and explosives to meet General Beauregard after the Battle of Shiloh to resupply him. So that kept most people away from the train. They didn't want to get that near explosives. So now we're going to do challenges and encounters, and this is the only station that has cards because they came, obviously they couldn't bring track damaging tools and, combustibles and stuff like that when they were getting on the train acting like they were normal passengers. So now they're hoping at the first station to pick up some tools, at least a crowbar, and good tools would be better. And historically, they got the crowbar. So obviously that was rigged because it's an historical scenario. So we'll put it underneath the engine so that we can remember we have that. And then that took our green card because that's a challenges and encounters. And like I said, again, this is the only station that has cards. The others are other kinds of challenges and encounters. Now put this back. I keep my cards color-coded together. Then we move 5. Okay, we're going to do 2 for 3 again. Now, why wouldn't we go fast? It uses up wood quicker, usually. And also, we raise the alert level if we go into a station or through a station at fast speed, because they were not expecting that to happen. All the trains are expected to stay on a schedule. So when they do that, it does draw attention to themselves. We don't want that to happen. So we'll get rid of 3 more wood cubes down here. I'm doing it. You can trust me. And that's the end of the Raiders' turn for this 15 minutes. So now it's the Confederate turn. The first thing that happens, these are the steps. Fuller, Murphy, and Kane, they start out running, and we have this stack of cards over here. You can't even tell it's a stack, but this is every possible way they can use transportation. is listed on a card here, and that includes all the trains because the Confederate trains, because they could commandeer them. So this tells us right now the best they do when they're running is 15 minutes, they go one space, so they're only there. Okay? Then the second thing we have to do is look at the real trains that have been discovered and see if they move south out of the station. We do this by using one black die, one white die. For them to move, the black die has to be 4 through 6. And I'm going to roll it for the first train up there. And we got a 2 and a 6. So the black is a 2. This one does not move. Let's check the one under it. The other rule is only one train can be on the track between stations or train schedule stack. And this time we got a 6 and a 1. So 6, it moves. We look over here. Southbound Confederate trains with a roll of 1 goes 4. It's going slow. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes to there. Now, those are the only exposed southbound trains. It's like I said, the dark gray ones have special rules. And now we go to train schedule stacks, and we do those alphabetically. A will try to move first. So we roll these dice, black and a white. The black's a 1, white, so it doesn't even matter what the white is. Now we'll go up to B, and we'll say, no, B can't move because something is ahead of it on the track. So we go to C, trains in Dalton, Georgia. 5 and a 5. So we'll look over here. 5, it moves. This 5 means it goes 6. It's going medium speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you see these red ties. That's dangerous track. That's curvy, hilly, etc. And you can't. The southbound trains will not go fast. If they'd rolled a 6, you count it as a 5. But the general can choose to go over dangerous track, but you have to make a roll to see if you derail. And so it's a bit of a risky move. You'll roll 3 dice, and if 2 or 6s, you're derailed. All right, let's keep moving along real quickly here. And we have letter D, train schedule stack at Tunnel Hill. I'll roll these dice. 4 and a 1, it's going to go 4 spaces. Then we have E, does not move. And finally, up in Chattanooga, got a 4 and a 1, so it's going to go 4. So it's this stack, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when these trains and train schedule stacks reach a station, they stop. They don't move past the station and then would have to do a roll again. Next turn, anything that's between station does just a single die roll, and you see how far it goes because it always does move if it's outside of a station. And you'll notice, since the lowest number is 4, any train or train scheduled stack, which is up to 4 spaces away from the station they're heading towards, can automatically slide in. So out of all this, we just finished 15 minutes. We start another round. And so this time, like I said, you don't know about this, that in history, a man got on a horse at Big Shanty and started riding back to Marietta and to the telegraph station there. So it shows on the time right over here that a telegraph message is sent from Marietta. So the raiders have to cut the telegraph wire. They might as well do it now. So we'd start with that card. And then let's just move for 10 minutes. And that equals 15 minutes. So cut the telegraph wire takes 5 minutes. We'll take this little marker here and put it across the telegraph wire there. It says cut. And so we succeeded in that. But if you read the card, there are all kinds of rules on the cards. And you'll see that to cut the telegraph wire in and of itself raises the alert level 1. So it's up to 2. Now, I did this over here. So you can see I've moved it up to 2. Whenever it gets in the red, every time you advance an alert level, you lose a persuasion cube. And you haven't even gotten to see why you would possibly have persuasion cubes yet, but I think you will very soon. Let's see. We're going to now, in 10 minutes, we're going to go medium 4 for 4. 4 spaces for 4 wood. Okay, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. If I land on a station, if the raiders land on a station, you do have to do the challenge check, and the raiders have to stop in any station that has a train or a train schedule stack or anything in the encounter, the challenges box down here. Okay, so they're going to have to stop there no matter what, and get trains out of their way, take care of other things going on at the station that they need to, anything that'll hold them up. Okay, so we just did that. Now, the Fuller Murphy Kane run to Moon Station. They say, did you see a train come through here? Yeah, we gave them a crowbar. So they're now going to, in any station, they can change from running to a pole car. And that goes a little faster. We'll take these pieces from them, and we just need the current transportation mode on top. And here they are again. And it can hold 1 Confederate unit, and it says on it over here, if it's 3 or less. So we look at this. They're behind us. The raiders can never go back. It's a 3. So now we know the strength that's following them on this. Okay, and so they automatically get to change over to a pole car. Now we're going to roll for these southbound trains. And first we would roll for this, but it's within 4 of the next station, so it goes here and stops. But now it's nothing in the way of the other train. We'll roll for it. We got a 4 and a 4, and a 4 over here goes 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's almost at the next station. And that's the only southbound train that's exposed at this point, these 2. And so now we try to see if A will leave Calhoun, that stack, which may or may not be trains. It might be sort of encounters. We rolled a 2 on the black die. Does not move. This doesn't even roll because something's in front of it. This doesn't need to roll because it slides on in. This doesn't need to roll because it's 4 spaces away and slides on in. So now we'll roll for E. And yes, it got a 6. It's going fast. It goes 8. But remember, we have to stop in the next station anyway. So it doesn't go the full 8. This last one down here, they come out of Chattanooga, is only 1 space away from Boyce. And it's about time, I should tell you, to notice the 3 top stations on the board in each column have a wood icon. And those are the only stations where the general can fill up with wood. We'll show you how that works in a minute. So we moved over to here. We're now at 6:30 a.m. Again, we'll pick cards. And we're just going to move for 15 minutes. That means, again, I'm going to go medium. Horrible lighting. We're going to go 6 spaces for 5 wood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces for 5 wood. So just before Etowah. And I have to give up 5 wood. So I'll tell you about Etowah. And if I'm saying that even correctly, there was an ironworks a few miles off it, Etowah Station, and there was actually a small engine called the Yonah that was there that James Andrews and the Raiders did not know even existed. And it was sitting there on a siding. So when they passed it, like their heart sank because they knew that anybody chasing them, well, there was an engine they could take over and really give them a little hotter pursuit. So there was a quick discussion. Do we want to stop and destroy the Yonah, which means they'd have to deal with 2 Confederate units over there, right there. And we don't know how strong they are or anything, and they decided not to. So in this historical scenario only, we say it cannot stop in Etowah. So we move 15 minutes there. We're on a bridge. We could take time the next turn to try to burn that bridge if we want to. And historically, they didn't even try on this one. By the way, it's a very rainy day. And so burning bridges is very difficult and time-consuming, even if you are successful. Let's continue. The pole car can go 3 spaces if there's no dangerous track or any other kind of obstruction on the railway. Otherwise, it goes 2. So it goes to there. Now we'll roll for the trains. We have this right here, the New York. And it's a 3 on the black die. It does not do anything. This one comes in. We'll see if this is finally going to move out of Calhoun. Nope, it's a 1. And we'll see that letter B stack. We do this alphabetically. 6 and a 6. So this does move. It's fast, but there's red. It's in red, and there's a red asterisk. And if there's any dangerous track, like there is, you pretend you rolled a 5. So it can go 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost to the next station. And we'll put these, we can stack these. We keep them in order, though. Everything basically you keep stacks in order. This doesn't roll. This will roll. And we are rolling 2. Next one, Tunnel Hill. 1, no. Way up there in Boyce. 6 and 6 again. So it can, there's no dangerous track. It can go 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it stops at the next station. That's the next turn. So now 6:45. The goal of the raiders at this first point, if you're not going to stop and try to destroy this Yonah, is to get up there and get wood. Kingston, everybody has to stop. And there's certain rules that are printed on the board. Like for Kingston, if the raiders ever try to leave Kingston after finishing any challenges and encounters there, before 3 southbound trains have come into the station, the alert level is going to go up 2. So we don't really want that, but it's not the end of the world yet. Okay, so let's just keep moving along. Let's do 15 minutes again. And we'll go 6 for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right between these 2 little stations that don't even have CSA units up there. All right, so I have to get rid of 5 wood. So you can see how much wood I have left on my tinder. And they stop at a station every time they go north, asking if they've seen this train, if anything's happened. So they go those 2 spaces there, and then they stop. And again, we check to see what's going to happen above them. The first, we'll try that first train, the New York. It's a 3, it does not move. Next train under it, it's a 1, it doesn't move. All right, how about train schedule stack A? It hadn't moved yet. And it still doesn't. It was a 1 on the black die. And then this one slides in. He's within 4. Letter B. No, that's C. That was B, sorry. Then C. Nothing's ahead of it between it and the next station, so it rolls. A 5. And I got a 2. And that means it goes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a lot's bunching up here. We'll check. D does not move. E in Tunnel Hill, it's a 5, and I rolled a 2, so it goes up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these lettered stacks can get out of order. That's possible. Finally, the last one is a 2, so that's how it ends up at the end of this turn. Now, we move to 7 a.m. over there, and the red writing says, a telegraph is sent from Marietta saying that the train has been stolen. At first, they thought they were deserters that stole the train. They had no idea that there were actually 20 people on board that stole the train. So down here in Marietta, they sent it out. The wire's cut. It does not reach Kingston or Dalton or Chattanooga. All right? And it's the Raiders' turn again. We want to go 4 spaces and stop in Cass Station. So let's move for 10 minutes, go 4 for 4. Then we're going to do the Take on Wood card, which can only be used in a wood station. And we have 5 minutes left, so we can bring on 15 wood. So we're going to do 4 for 4 for 10 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, the first thing you have to do, getting rid of the 4 wood, is when you enter a station, is the station challenge. The station challenge for Cass Station is 6. Now there's writing on that station. Now I'll tell you what it is. There was a station master there who was very, I guess, talkative, friendly, and they convinced the station master about their urgent mission and everything, and he gave them extra updated schedules for what was actually truly coming ahead. It was a better schedule. So we're going to get to use intelligence and write, make sure you can see this, turn over 6 more of these upside down encounter counters, schedule stack counters. If we convince them on our first roll, when you do a station challenge, you actually get 2 rolls. If the first one doesn't succeed, you can then wager some of your persuasion points and modify the die roll by however many persuasion points you wager in advance. So since the rule is on the first roll, we have to get a 6 or better, and it really gains us, not only lets us convince them that we're legit up there in Cass Station, but we get to get more intelligence, which might help us. We'll go ahead and really do these wagers on the first roll. So I'm going to say, for instance, 6. I think my probability is pretty good if I could at least get a 3 or above to make this work. So I'm going to take 3 persuasion cubes, take them off the board into the supply. Okay? Just did that right there. So now I get to add 3 to my die roll when I roll 2 dice. And I got a 4. Look at this, these 2 white dice. I got a 4. So I add 3, and that gives me a 7. And so I convinced them. What we can also do is take one of these persuasion cubes that was just been used up, and we can put it right on the 6 in this case to remind us that we did pass that station check. Okay, so I get to now figure out 6 more of these encounter counters, and where are they really bunching up? That's where I might want to take them off. How about 2 off of here, 1 off of here, 2 off of here, and 1 off of here. So let's do 2. There are only 2 left here. So we'll take this white train off because there's nothing left in this schedule. The first one is an hourglass. Yeah, we got rid of that. That's good. The second one is a 3rd train. So there's actually 3 trains in Resica Station. So that was 2. Then I said I wanted to get rid of 1 more out of this. So we take the top one, and it's an hourglass. This is great. These were the things, remember, that if we encountered them, our turn would end. It takes up the whole turn for wasted time. But through intelligence, we're learning more about what's going on and won't waste as much time. Stack D, we'll do 2 of them. One is a small time waster, a line. Just waste the 5 minutes it took to look at it. And the other is another hourglass. This is really, really good. And then we only get one more out of the 6. And I'd already designated it would come from this stack. And what is it? It's a green circle. When that's discovered between stations, it's put in the challenges box of the previous station, upside down. So we have to sort of memorize what's going on too. Okay, so we passed that. Now we can put on wood. So I go over here for 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, you can put on 15 wood. So we'll put it back on the tinder. We're actually doing great with wood. We're not wasting a bit. 4, 7, 10, 14, there's 15. So we go back to the board. This can go 3 spaces, chasing us, the pole car. And again, we'll go through and see what's going to move. The top train in Resica. Does it move? Sorry, I'm bumping into the camera. And a 6 and 5, it does. It goes 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost reaches the next station. So that means neither of those trains will try to go. Now we have to roll for this A again, this train schedule stack A. We got a 1 and a 5. Does not. This slides automatically. And this whole process here with the trains gets quicker and quicker as the stacks actually go away because the encounters and the trains are up on there. And this one's a 3, but this one comes in behind it. And then the last one up there at Chickamauga. 6 and a 6, but it doesn't do 6, it does 5, which means it moves 6 because there is a dangerous track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, it goes to there. That's the end of this turn. All right, so now I know I'm going to get up here to Kingston and have at least one train with a challenge. But first I have to fill up with wood. So I'll just keep this card on. For 10 minutes, I'll do 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's going to take me 30 minutes to get all of those. That last 5, I won't be putting much on, but then I'll move 5. And we're going to use some new cards very soon. So my turn, I know I can get all the wood back on the tinder. And this is where it's important, I'm just going to tell you from experience, to get through everything here and get up to Tilton to the next wood station can be difficult. And again, I'm going to show you why in a minute with all these encounters and everything. And we're going to probably try to burn that bridge up there too. You can't see it. There's a bridge up there at the top of the board. And so nobody can follow us. So I just did that, and then I'm going to move 5 minutes more. You can leave a station fast because you're, starting slow and gradually getting faster. But you can't go into a station fast or through a station fast without raising the alert level. So I'm gonna go ahead and go fast. 4 spaces for 6 wood. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll take out 3, 6. And this pole car, he's gotten up to Allatoona. He's getting close. Conductor Fuller has several abilities. He was very dogged pursuer historically, and there is one of his abilities. He can only use 3, and we keep track of that with these little counters. One is to go from this space to this space. Usually should take 2 turns because you can only go 2 and then 1, but you do it in 1 turn. So he's actually getting closer to the picking up that train there. So let's see. We now have to move those southbound trains. This one slides in. Put it in front since it takes precedence over a stack. The next train in Resica tries to move out. It's a 6 and a 2. 2 means it goes 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And now, does a train schedule stack ever move? Is it going to move the whole game? We got a 2. Nope. B doesn't move, or B's gone. That's C up there. Now we go down to Dalton and look. And let's see down here in Dalton. So the first one is D. It does not move. E, it does move. E moves ahead of D. It goes 4, so a roll to 4, it goes 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're right there. And finally, F just slides into the station, and that's the end of another turn. We're now at 7:30 a.m. So one thing, partly to demonstrate cards and partly to correspond with history and a few things, I want to do something that could end up helping me. And that is, I want to damage track. A damage track gives only 1 victory point, but it can slow down any train pursuing it. It really doesn't affect runners. It affects the pole car only just like a dangerous track would. So what we need is a crowbar or good tools. It takes 15 minutes with a crowbar, only 10 with good tools. And we'll put a counter on that. So this is going to take all 15. We play it, and what we do, we'll put, there's a damage track counter. If you had good tools, we'd put the higher number side on it, which is an 8, but we don't have good tools. We have the crowbar, so we're putting a 7 right here. So they just hung out right there and did their best to damage track for 15 minutes. And if a train pursues it, it has to stop when it lands on that. Then each turn it can roll once. If it gets a 7, in this case, it will go on past it. And if a 7 is run over, the actual track is considered fixed or not messed up enough to matter. So it's taken off. Okay, so we did that. Now they go into here. They're in Etowah. They say, did you see this train coming by? They're telling them, yeah, it was coming by. We didn't, know what to make of it. Then the next turn, they will commandeer and get on the train. Then the next turn, it'll start moving. And that's how that's going to work. So let's continue. All right, we have this train right here. It does not move. The next train comes in. Gets under the one that came in first. Next train will try for this one. See if it moves. Nope. So then we still have that scheduled stack A, and it still doesn't move. And then we have C, and Resica. It does not move. This one slides in, which makes room for this one to try. Letter D coming out of Dalton still. And it's a 6 and a 6, but it can't go fast because of the dangerous track. It'll move 6, like a result of 5 would show it to do. And then we just have one more to roll for. It originally came out of Chattanooga, and it does move. Goes 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stops in the next station, as is the rule. It's right there, so we did another turn. So now we want to move 5 minutes. We want to go to the bridge, and we're going to try to burn it. So I have to get the card that says set fire to bridge attempt, 5 minutes. And to set fire to a bridge, you need to roll a 10. I'll show you how we can attenuate that. Now let's say we're playing for optimal results. So if we burn the bridge, we then want to continue moving for another 5. So we have the move 5, set fire to bridge attempt, and a move 5. We might not get to the last 5. So we're going to move 5. We'll play this card off here for 5 minutes. He goes 1 space, just slowly. It only takes 1 wood, though. Now, here's what's interesting. It provides a choice and risk. is to try to burn this bridge, which you're not even seeing. Raise it a little bit. Okay, up here at the top. On the bridge, set fire to bridge attempt, it takes 10 or better to set fire to it. We want to get moving. We want to get to Kingston and beyond before so many trains and things come down. What you can do is you can use up 2 wood cubes and better odds, and a 9 or better will start the fire. If I use a total of 4 and 8 or better, and those are your only choices. You can't just keep committing wood for that. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to play 4 wood cubes to try to help start this fire. So I need an 8 or better. And I'm going to roll 2 white dice. And I get a 6. That does me no good. I still couldn't do it. It was raining, like I said. It was very difficult to start fire. They didn't bring any other combustibles or using up their wood. So now I can play this card again. It was right here, right? So then I won't get to use the 5 at the end. I'm not going to use any more wood, but I'm going to play it one more time. Roll the dice. And I got a 6 and a 3 and 9. Nope. It didn't work. Still didn't work. I didn't get my 10. This was very frustrating to the Raiders historically, too. So depends on how much wood you want to burn trying to do this, or what's your situation. I think he doesn't get to, the Raiders do not get to use their other movement card at this point. But I can just say, okay, maybe that damage track will help a little bit and slow them down coming up behind me. So then, as we said over here, now they change over to this train. We take off the pole car. They're on the Yonah. I'll move this up to the top of the pursuit deck. The soldiers or people on the car that we're helping follow, they get off there, and new ones can get on, though. Let's look at this Yonah. We're on here. It has boxes for 2 Confederate units, so we don't know how strong they are. We're going to put them both on here. The Yonah, each pursuit card for each train has special instructions, and this Yonah does not have to stop for fuel in Cass Station, but when it gets to Kingston, it's out of the game. And then the Raiders would have to commandeer another train in Kingston to keep moving forward. And so that's what happens with that part. And now we start rolling again to see what's going on with the southbound trains and train stacks. The first one does not move. There's another train there. It's a 6 and a 2. It does move. It moves 5. So the New York stays there. Freight 2 goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A does not even get to roll now. Well, how about this train too? Back here. Got a 2. So then that stack in Resica gets to try. Does not move. Then D, this is actually D. It slides in, but now E gets to roll. See if they move. Yep. They go 6 spaces. Oops. Right next to the next station. So you can see things can get real bunched up here, and they're going to spend a lot of time getting past all these trains and challenges and encounters. Finally, we're rolling for the last ones, and they indeed will go to the next station. That's moves up to 8 a.m. And the Pennsylvania was a train in Marietta that it's still wondered why they didn't, the Confederates didn't just send this train after them. Again, I don't think they were really aware when the guy came in on horseback and said, hey, somebody's stolen the train. They weren't aware of the seriousness with what was going on. And that slowly started dawning on them, but they sort of took their time. In reality, they didn't make it up until noon to Big Shanty, and loaded up with troops and started traveling. They're way too late. So what we have in this game, it could have happened earlier. On this turn, we roll one die. I'll roll this red die over here in this case. And if we get a 1, it enters the game now. Then every hour, it'd be a 1 or 2, then 1, 2, or 3. Eventually it does enter. We didn't get a 1. Okay. And just a reminder, since we're out of cast station, we can put this little marker back. And, okay, so now we're going to go on into Kingston, the Raiders. Going to not worry about that bridge. Let's burn ones later down the road. So it's only 2 more miles to Kingston. We'll move for 5 minutes, of course, do the station check. And then we have this one engine that's there, the William R. Smith, which was a train that just went back and forth to Rome, Georgia. And it's there, though, still. And so we will have to do the green challenges card. That will be our second card. And then let's move out if we can, because we're very lucky that not so much has made it down to Kingston to start blocking things up. All right, are you even able to see? There's Kingston right there. So we're going to move 2 spaces from the top of the board into Kingston. And we put the Raiders trains up here in the top left corner. We use up 3 wood. I'm going to take those out of my tender now. And like I said, the first thing we have to do, we'll put the William R. Smith over in the challenges box, is win the station challenge. Convince them that we're legit, even though they've never seen us. They've seen the train, but the whole crew is different. And that we're a special train going to resupply Beauregard. So we do 1 roll at first, and we need an 8 or better. And we don't worry about persuasion cubes for that. We rolled a 9, so we're fine. Let's put a little cube on Kingston to remind us that we did pass it. Now, for the second 5 minutes, we do a challenges and encounters. And this train has a 6. All we need to do is get a 6 and get it out of our way. And, so we have a little more control of what's the situation is at the station. So same thing, we'll do 2 rolls. The first one, 4. So that's less than a 6. So we need to use some persuasion cubes to make sure that we don't get stuck here. Kingston has 3 Confederate units on it, and we know 1 has a strength of 10. So again, I'm just going to say I'm pretty likely to get 3 or better. So I'm going to take out 3 persuasion cubes, and now I get to add 3 to whatever this roll is. And I got a 9, so easily passed the check. Since it has passed, it goes to the successful challenges box in the station. And now we're down to move 5. Now I told you there's a rule at this station because they knew a lot of trains were supposed to be coming in from above. So if you leave before 3 southbound trains have arrived, it does alert them like, okay, this is suspicious that they're trying to leave so quickly when there's trains coming. So we're going to do it because we just need to get up as far north as we can since there are people pursuing us. So we're going to move 5, and we're going to move fast. So we're going to move 4 spaces for 6 wood. 1, 2, 3, 4. For 6 wood. Get rid of these. Okay. And so at that point, they're going to chase us over here on the Yonah. They're ready to go. They have troops on board. We roll the die once, but I'm gonna roll this black die, and we're gonna get a 6. We look at the northbound Confederate trains. It goes 10 spaces. So, but actually, we have dangerous track ahead of us. So scoots back 1 to 8. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, the Yona does stop in Cass Station. So next turn it is going to have to stop. Then it will continue moving. All right. But it doesn't have to sit there for a turn loading up with wood like the other trains do. Now we'll see the southbound trains, 1, 2, 3, 4. It scoots in. We'll roll for the next train to see if it's coming behind it. It is. And in fact, it moves 8 spaces, 2, 7, 8, right outside the station. Then the other train up in Resica, it moves and it goes 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this does not roll to move because something's in front of it. This does not roll to move because something's in front of it. This moves right in, slides in. This can roll to move. And it does. Goes 5 spaces. 5. And finally, group F, stack F. And it's going to move too. And it goes all the way, just 4 spaces here, to the next station. And now we're up here to 8:15. So we have a lot of action about to start happening. So I want to get to this station before this could possibly head south and we possibly collide. If one train or the other is going slow, you never have a collision. However, if one is even going, if they're both either going medium and or fast, you have to roll for a collision. I don't really want that. So I know I can't move through this station. This is Adairsville because there's a train there. And you do have to stop when a train is there to get things out of the way and get things situated. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 spaces. Okay, so if I move, and I don't want to go fast into it. Oh, and I didn't raise the alert level over here when I left Kingston like I said I had to. So it's up to level 4 now. Now we'll move back to this action. And so I'm going to move 15 minutes. I'm going to move 6 spaces right into here for 5 wood. And got rid of 5 wood from my tinder. And this will go over into the challenges box. This is almost there. Here's where you see, you know, this is the difficult column to get through. The column of track, that is. So the first thing I have to do is pass an 8 at Adairsville for the station challenge. And this doesn't take any time. I already did all my time. That's 15 minutes was used. So I'm going to roll once and hopefully I'll get lucky. I got a 9. I did get lucky. So we don't need this cube down here anymore. We'll just put it up here to show that I've done that much. Now it's the Confederate turn. As I said, they move into Cass Station, and they just moved. They stopped there to, you know, ask about the train, find out what was going on, and now the southbound trains happen. This automatically comes in here, and it's going to go underneath the other one in the challenges box. This one's going to move into here, and now this is stack A, which has never moved through this whole game, which is pretty bizarre. There's a 50-50 chance of it moving each time. So we're going to move it now, see if it moves. Still, a 1 is on the black die. So now we go up here. We have schedule E and schedule C. So we do C first to see if it's going to move. Roll the dice. Got a 2. Then we'll try, this is D. D moves next. It's going to come in here. But we still roll for E to see if it'll leave the station. And I got a 2 again for it. And finally, the last one, 5. He does move. He moves 5 right there. That's another turn. You'll see there's a lot of red writing coming up too. On the timeline. Maybe you won't. There you will. So a bunch of special things happen. Okay, so now we have to figure out what to do. I have 2 trains I have to beat the challenges with, so I'll play this card for 5 minutes, but I know I'm going to have to do it twice. And, I forgot something. I didn't cut any track. I didn't cut the telegraph line. And you can't do that in a station. It's too obvious. So I'm going to have to move out of here and then try to cut the line before they can make it to Kingston, or else they're going to send out a message and then really going to be stymied. Okay, so first challenge, I have to roll a 6 for freight 2, 6 or higher. I'm going to roll 2 dice, and I got a 6. So this one will be placed over in the successful challenges box. It's out of the way. And then the next one, the New York, is a 7 or above. And I rolled a 7. So these are out of here. So I've used up 10 minutes with the green challenges and encounters card. I'm going to move 5. Now, as you can see, there's the potential for this train to collide with me. So it can come down here if I'm up here. And so I don't want that. I don't want it to end in a collision. You get 8 points, victory points for a collision, but you lose victory points for every raider that's killed or hanged, and if they're wounded, they can't shoot or anything. So, it's really not a good proposition to try to have a collision. So I'm going to move just 5. I'm going to go 1 space. When you go slow, you cannot be collided with. And I don't have to put a marker on it. If I did medium or fast, I have a marker over here I have to put on the train. Once you're in range that you could have a collision, you put a marker on your speed to see. So, very interesting situation here. First off, it's now the Confederate's turn. I roll 1 die. I rolled a 6 for the northbound train that Fuller Murphy Kane are on. Of course, it would go 10. Yeah, it could do that. But 1, 2, 3, 4. It stops on the damaged track. Okay? And the next turn, to see if it can move, you have to roll a 7 or above. The odds are with them to do that. So they're wasting a little time right now, but chances are it's not going to hold them up too long. Now we have to see what's coming south. So first, that single train. 2, it does not move. Now the other trains can move, though. These can move south. And why would that matter? Because we're past them. It'll matter because it's when the pursuers lose the Yonah here in Kingston. They have already this train, but this one does leave Kingston eventually. They'd have other trains down here that they could get on, potentially. So the trains behind you are very dangerous. So we're going to do the first one there. Yes, it moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the train schedule stack that's right here. This is very, very crucial right now. See what happens. It moves, and it also moves 8. So did that land on me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this is what happens when a train schedule stack lands on you. You look at it, and it's only 1 token. It's a red flag, which is detrimental to me, but only in a station. So it's placed in the challenges box behind that it just came from. So there is no stack A or B anymore. Nothing was really coming down. That's the fog of the whole situation, not knowing what's coming towards you. I goofed up. I left this counter back there by accident. What is it? It's a train. So there was a train there, and then it came south. And we don't collide, as I said, even though this was going fast, I was going slow. So a collision doesn't occur. But we have an interesting situation. And when it becomes my turn again, I'm going to tell you about it. Some dilemmas start occurring. So now what do we have here? D, C. First we roll to see if C comes south. Yes, it does. And it gets all the way there. Oh, I lost my little white train. I'll put this one on it. And then it made it all the way. So now D rolls. Yep, it goes 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's right outside. So this does not roll. This slides into Dalton. That's the end of that turn. Now here's the situation for me, and lots of dilemmas occur when you are starting to run into things, and the game is just never the same way twice in this regards. There's a train's come down. We want to convince it through a challenge to move backwards all the way up there. We're an important train. We're bringing all this to Beauregard, so we want to move it backwards, and it would go in the successful challenges box. Or we can commandeer this train, and we can leave ours right here and take over their train and use it. And that's risky because they get one shot at us in combat. Now, why don't we want to just keep doing this? Because we cannot cut a telegraph wire if a southbound train is there with us. But if we take it over, then we've basically taken the whole crew hostage and we can do what we want. So if they get out of here, past this damaged track in this turn, they're going to come into Kingston, and that immediately sends the telegraph message northward. So I don't think we have any choice but to try to commandeer the train. And that's a red card. Attack and capture a southbound train. It takes 10 minutes. So it's 10 of our minutes. And it happens automatically, but it does take the 10 minutes. That's the cost. And we get one combat roll, so you're going to see how that works against the Raiders. So they put up some kind of struggle, but it's not a bunch of troops on board or anything, and you have 20 armed men here. Okay? So then what are we going to do for the other 5? Well, then we don't have a southbound train on us, so we're going to cut the telegraph wire. We're not going to get to move out of here, this space. And we might even want to burn the bridge eventually. But first we attack and capture the southbound train. So now we'll put this on here. And we've done that, but they get to shoot at us. What we do is roll a black, a white, a black, a yellow, and a red die. And we look at them in that order. Black and yellow. We have a player's aid sheet here, and it has the combat table on it. If you can see this, shadows are horrible. I'm going to lay it down gently here. And we look at the 5 and the 3. It affects 2 raiders. And how does it affect them? We look at this table over here. Rolled a 2, wounded. Doubled wounded raiders killed, by the way. So for 2 of our raiders, and of course we don't want it to be an engineer, we get to pick. We'll take 2 of our raiders and turn them upside down. And there's a generic wounded marker here. So we have 2 less raiders. We only have 18 that could actually fight in a situation. When you get in combat, you get 1 roll for every 5 raiders, or for every 5 strength points the Confederates have. And you always get 1 if you have 5 or less, or less than 5 even. You always get 1 roll. But at 20, they were going to get 4 rolls. With 18 now, they'd only get 3 rolls. So the only other difference that happened since we captured this northbound train is the basic rules, we have an optional rule that's more particular, but we'll use the basic rule, is you start with 30 wood. So I'm going to count out 15, 7, 1, 2, and 10. So one strategy that can come in handy, you can commandeer a train. You're in the basic rules, you're going to end up sometimes with more wood than you had. And so it's one way you can also get out of a predicament of not having enough wood. Okay, so that was our full turn by doing this. Oh, we cut the wire just in the nick of time, perhaps. So that's cut. So if anything gets sent out of Kingston, it can't go past that cut sign. The general is right here. It's possible that Fuller, Murphy, and Kane will end up on that general chasing us. That's one possible scenario here. And we are going to, you get 2 points. We can look at the board and see we get 2 points for that. We're really only up to 4 points because I can not, well, 5 if we count the damaged track. We still haven't burned a bridge. And that's what we really need to do. So, putting this card back. And we raise the alarm level, the alert level, up to 5. The next time we lose an alert level, we have to also lose a persuasion cube. If you don't have any persuasion cubes left yet, you lose 2 wood. So the sort of a friction of war kind of a situation. Okay. We don't need this cube here because we're out of Adairsville. We now have this. We now do the Confederate's turn. We're going to roll 1 black die and 1 white die for this train, Confederate train that's way up here on the damaged track marker, right up at the top of the board. Okay? So if the sum is 7 or higher, because that's on the damaged track marker, they're going to get past it. And then we'd look at the white die to look on the movement table to see how far they actually go. Rolling them, oh, it was a 10. So they did get past it. When you get past a 7, it's repaired even. So it's not even going to get me that 1 point. And a 5 is the white die, because it was 2 5s. And that for northbound is 8. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Entered Kingston and sent out a telegraph message. Bang, we cut it right ahead of them. Right ahead of them. So that saved the Raiders for that aspect. Now we see the southbound trains, 1, 2, 3, 4. It comes into here. And like I said, the Yonah is going to go out of the game now that it's reached Kingston. So they're going to have to take a turn to board another train and start the chase again. We're now going to roll for this other train heading south. And it does not move. Now we're going to roll for this train. That will matter because at this point we were stationary. So they can't collide, but we might run into another train we have to convince to go back. And roll to 1. It did not move. No more trains freely out here, but we have this letter C stack. It does not move. This one moves in, D. So this is getting a little crowded. And this one can be, we'll roll to see if it moves. By the way, you can look at the board. All the bridges are worth 6 except this Oostanala bridge, which is worth 15 points. That's the juicy prize there. And it does not move, and the ones in Dalton, they do move. So lots of clutter ahead to get through. 5. Yep, gets to right there. And that's the end of that turn. We roll now for the Pennsylvania, coming up from behind. So roll the red die, 1 or 2. Nope, 6. It's not entered play yet. And so now the Raiders move, and we're on this now. We're not on the general, remember? It's the Texas. And in history, the Texas is the actual train that was the closest pursuer of the Raiders. But now in this game, the Raiders have the Texas. So I want to get into this station before anything else can get out. But I have one other situation to worry about. That's these guys load up in one turn, then they start moving, and they come up there and catch me while I'm trying to deal with all the encounters. And then they'd activate the Confederate units who would shoot at me. It may be something strong like a 15 strength unit, or it might be a little 2, and I have no way of knowing. So one thing I might want to do is burn the bridge right here, and that would help slow them down. So 1, 2, how many spaces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need to go 8. And so I would have to go fast to go up in there anyway. Or do I want to move to here and try to burn that bridge? You know, so there's lots of choices here a second. And none are assured me of anything. So I'm bridge. Let's try this. Let's try the bridge. And if I go 10 minutes, okay, if I go 10 minutes fast, I can actually get into that station. So I'm going to try burn the bridge, 1 roll. Then I'm going to do the other 10 minutes moving to get up to that station. So this is my well-laid plan that can definitely go awry. Now I have a little more wood than I was expecting. I'm actually going to try to, I'm going to use 4 wood to try to better my odds at burning the bridge. So if I take out 4 wood out of this, then I now get an 8 or better. I burn this bridge. And if you read the rules, this bridge will collapse with the general on it. And so that will be gone, which is pretty wild thing to happen. The only way it wouldn't be gone is if the Confederates chasing them land on it the very next turn, and but they can't. So here we go. This is a big roll. I need an 8 or above. Rolling 2 white dice. I'll show you. And it's a 4. Did not succeed. So I'm just going to have to do my best to get out of this area up here. I'm going to go 8. Moving into here, I'll put myself in the Raiders box. Now I'll show you what happens with everything else. Any train that's there goes into the challenges box underneath what we've already had. Then we get rid of the train schedule stack C and D in an order. We put all of those counters underneath. So there's a whole stack of counters underneath now. We'll take these off. So this, in reality, in history, Kingston was a mess to get through there, and they stayed there over an hour trying to get through all the situations there. And in our situation, we got up to Calhoun, and that's happening. And we can see more can get added. So I said we went 8. We lose 10 wood by going that fast, that far. So I have to take those out. And what did I say about leaving a station or entering a station fast? It draws attention, and we raise the alert level to 6, which means it's red now. We lose a persuasion cube for doing that. All right, so the first thing that happens, because I've really finished all my minutes, but remember, I have to do the station check, and that does not take minutes, and it's an 8 again. And I roll. I got a 5. Okay, can't afford really to get in a battle right now. I'm gonna need an 8. I think I can get a 4 or better, so I'm gonna take out 4 persuasion cubes, and I need a 4 or better to pass that. And I got a 3, so I did not pass that challenge. Very bad luck. here's what happens, a new situation in the game. As soon as it's still, the end of my turn, as soon as you don't pass a check, this will turn over and shoot at you. And it has, if you can read it, of course you can't read it. It says 5 on it. So they get one roll shooting at the raiders. They're going to roll a black, yellow, and red dice. We got black, 1, yellow, 4. I can tell you now on the combat table, if a black or yellow is 1, there are no hits. And so the red doesn't even matter. Now here's the problem. Well, now it's the Confederates' turn. And so they're going to get a shot during their turn too. So before I can even shoot back, they're going to get a whole extra shot. Okay, and that's one problem with entering a station at the end of the turn, because I don't have time to bring out a combat card and shoot back. So let's go through all the things that are going to happen now. The Raiders came in on the Yonah. The Yonah is now discarded from the game, but they load up on the next train that's there, and that is the William R. Smith. That's staying true to history. These soldiers come off. We bring the William R. Smith to the top of this pursuit deck, because they're getting on it. They don't get to move this turn, but they're loading up, making the change. And now there are 3 Confederate unit. We know 1 is a 10. We don't know how strong the others are. So they're all loaded up. They're going to start moving northbound next turn. And they dropped off these other soldiers, which were actually pretty strong. So that happened there. Then the next thing that happens, they shoot. They're going to get to roll black, yellow, red again. They get 1 roll because they're only worth 5. But I got 5 and a 3. That sounds familiar. Did we get that last time? A 5 and a 3 means 2 hits, and the 6 means they were killed. We're just going to turn our wounded into killed. What do we do with them? We put them up in this box. So this was Private Wood and Private Bensinger were killed. We'll put them right there. And they're -2 each. So if you look at it, we have 4 points for cutting the wire, and we just lost 4. We're at 0. So we got to do a lot of burning and stuff, bridges. The next thing we do is see what continues to move south. So we'll roll a black and white for this stack. 3 does not move. The next one up here slides in. We're trying to get to Tilton for wood too, And that's the end of their turn. So it's at 9:15. And okay, so our choices are this. We need to play the green card many times to get through this. So do we want to keep enduring them shooting at us each turn? Or do we want and try to get through this stack and just skedaddle out of there? Or do we want to try to fire? I think let's fire one time. And we'll use the combat card first. That takes 5 minutes. And the way it works, we get to do as many rolls as we can, which will be 3. And if we can, in one set of rolls, if we can get 5 hits, this will be gone. Otherwise, nothing happens to it. It's still there and worth 5. So Confederate units are harder to get rid of. If you think about it, more people are joining the fray as you go along and everything. Then we'll, of course, use this challenges and encounters card to get through as much of this as we can. So here we go. We're going to do 3. All we really need to do is the black and the yellow die when we shoot at them. But in the combat attack card, when we finish our rolls, they get to roll. Combat is not simultaneous. It's basically the idea being whoever gets the drop on the other or the initiative has an advantage. It's a tactical situation, so things can happen quickly. So I would take the first roll, black and 5 and 5. That's a huge, great number. Doubles are great on this. It says 5 and 5, 5 hits. So we just destroyed this. We also pinned them, which would give us an extra roll too. And if they'd been shooting at us, it says E and M there. So, or M is for Murphy. If he'd been in that space, he would have been killed in combat. And if they'd been shooting at us, an engineer would have been. So this is worth 3 points. So we just gained 3 points. By all Confederate units are worth 3 points, no matter how strong or weak they are, because they don't represent a specific number of men or what you really did to them or what. They could have just all started running. So we have 10 more minutes. We get to turn over the first square. It's green. Now, this is a green circle encounter, as we're just calling it now, is we roll 1 die, and we have a table here for 6 results, but green is basically good, but with often a cost. I'll roll, and I rolled a 5, and it says curious citizens are asking questions. If there's shooting going on. Resolve a challenge check with a value of 6. If the challenge rolls fail, both of them, you have to add 1 to the alert level as per normal. Do not turn the Confederate units face up or fire if there were any. If the challenge rolls succeed, you gain back 2 persuasion cubes. And I'm going to insert something I forgot here. Whenever there's combat, you put the combat counter there. And when you do that, if it's in a station, you go up 2 alert levels. So it's up to 8, which means I have to lose 2 more persuasion cubes. So what it said there is I have a challenge, that green thing there said I have a challenge of 6, first roll. I got a 4. So if I don't get the 6, if I get the 6 this time, I'm going to get 2 cubes back, and I'll gain 2. But I'll tell you what, I'll wager 1 and hopefully gain 2 back if I get a 6 or above. I rolled a 5, but I wagered 1. It brings it up to a 6. I now get 2 persuasion cubes. So I convince them. When we call them persuasion, yes, we're trying to convince somebody, but when it gets physical, it's physical persuasion. And I get to do one more upside down encounter here. And it's the same, another green, so I'll roll a die, and I got a 6. And this one says, Andrew tells a convincing story, lower the alert level by 1. So it's down to 7, which is good. And that is everything I can do on my turn. Now it's the Confederates' turn. They would get to shoot. They don't have anybody to shoot with. But down here, they're going to start this pursuit. I'm going to roll this red die, and I roll a 3. And that means they go up 7. And they have to stop in any station where there are trains or anything, too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They just get that far. And then the things heading south, there aren't many now. It's just 2 train schedule stacks. The first one does not move. The second one does move 4 spaces. So as you can see, it's probably going to be bunched up here too, if not all the way down there. That's the end of the turn. Time for more actions. It's 9:30. And they're well ahead of where they were historically. They were just getting ready to leave Kingston historically. All right, so we can pretty much only play the green card. And just in case something happens, we get super lucky, which not much can, but we'll move 5-2, or because maybe we'll get to move. Okay, so we're going to play the first one. We can get rid of the combat marker. First one is a red flag. What a red flag meant in these days was that there was danger ahead or a train coming south, and it basically meant you weren't supposed to leave the station. And what we do with a red flag is we'll put it on the next turn on the turn track. And if we leave the station this turn or the next turn, the alert level is going to go up 1 for each flag. If we get another flag, it'll be placed further out. So it has even longer effect. Then we have a train for the second one, and it's the Catoosa. We only need to persuade it with a challenge of 6. Not too hard, we hope. First one was a 7, the roll, so we got it. It goes over here. But remember, it can go south, and if need be, and it would be there too. One more. It's another train, and it's a 6, so we have to pass this persuasion check, trying to get stuff out of the way so we can get out of this station. And I rolled a 4, and I have to. No, I'm just going to wager 1. And a 3, 4. Well, I failed that check, so I still have to do this one. But there's nothing to shoot at me. There's nothing to turn around and shoot at me. But it goes up 1 level, 1 alert level, just for failing the check. Okay, so that's the end of my turn. And now the Confederates are going to move again. Roll 1 die, got a 5. They would go 8, but since there's something here, they do have to stop there. So they stop in Adairsville. And then we have to see where trains move and stuff. Does this one head south? Yep, we go 6 south. That hardly matters, quite honestly. And does this one head south? Yep. 4. And these can get in their way, so actually that's good right now. If there was a burned bridge, by the way, the train would stop and Fuller Murphy Kane can swim across. It takes them a turn, and they each have to roll a die. If they roll a 6, they drowned. But basically, nothing stops them on this board. And we'll roll for that train schedule stack. Nothing. The next one slides. Oops, sorry. Slides in. And that's the end of that turn. This says, if the William R. Smith is still in the station back here, it would leave the game because it would have headed off to Rome. But it's not. It's still being used to chase. Okay, so now we have the green card. Again, we have 3 of these. Let's see. There is a situation that could gain me back 5 minutes, so I'm going to play that too. And the first one, we have to persuade them to get out of our way. It's only a 6, which we failed last time. Got a 4 again. Have to wager 2. And I got a 7. It did go out of our way now. So then the second challenge and encounter is an hourglass. We lose the rest of the turn. We're wasting time there. So that was a little bit of a bummer. We lost 5 extra minutes. And now the Confederates, they move. We'd roll a die, and this is formality right now. 6 because the general's stuck here. And so they'd move and then have to stop here. And then they put the general underneath them. And what they're going to do is they're pushing it back up to the next station to get out of the way. Unfortunately, this is coming down the track too, and it rolls, and it would stop when it gets to here. And it's also, we're back in the Fuller Murphy Kane are telling them what's going on. And so we're backing everybody up. This does not roll since there was a southbound train on there that coming down that way anyway. So the last thing they have to do is there's 2 train schedule stacks. See if they come in, because that would hold up the Raiders enough for sure. Whoop, they do. So they're coming down 5. That's a stack with 3 pieces in it. And that one doesn't roll. So now we're over here. And we roll for the Pennsylvania. 1, 2, or 3. It does. them there. So Pennsylvania has entered the game. And what we need to do is get it off of the bottom. So keep it there. We'll put it on this track here on the status board. You can see that. We load it up with the top 3 CSA units at Big Shanty, and it's going to move this turn when it heading north too. Okay, so now it's the Raiders' turn. Oh, they went 1, 2, 3. They went medium. I should mark this. This train stack is moving medium, in case there's a real train there. Medium fast. So I have to do 1 train encounter card here. And if I move slow, I can guarantee that if there's a train in there, we won't crash. And I can move 10 going slow, and then challenge any train in there and back it up. That's my idea for right now. So first we have to do this, and it's another train. So it has a 6. It's freight train number 1, since we never could find names of all the trains. And so we got to get a 6. I got a 7. So it moves over here. I've used up this card. And now I can move 10 minutes. And it says from 10 minutes, I can go slowly 2 for 2 wood. So I'm going to go up here to the same space. And since I was going slow, there is no possibility of a collision. I have to give up my 2 wood. And so my best bet is, and you have to remember how the trains are stacked here. If there's more than 1 train here, it will go back. But there's a train here. They're between me. And so this is another dilemma, and I'll show you why in a minute. So let's see if they move. Now, if you're escorting trains backward or anything, you can't go fast. So if we roll a fast, it goes down to a medium. We roll a 4 for northbound train. They go 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They had to stop in Calhoun anyway because there are trains there. And we put all these trains in the southbound train stack there too. So then I'm sorry. When I landed on them there, going slow, we should have looked at everything. We'll get rid of this, we'll get rid of this. And anything that's a time waster, anything will go back here except a train. So we got a green dot, green circle, we got a red flag. That's going to go back in the next station. We have to deal with it. And we got a 5-minute waster. And so they're all back there. So we, again, out of cautiousness, there was no train coming south, but we weren't sure, and we moved slowly at this point. This is one good thing, is maybe we'll get to try to burn the Oostanala Bridge. It really depends on what happens here. And that's the only one we now have to roll for to head south. This one automatically comes into here. And so let's roll for it. A 3 and a 3. It does not move. And that's the end of that turn. And the action, the markings on the time tracker say that southbound trains schedules begin rolling to leave Kingston. Any train that's in Kingston that was heading south can possibly move down there too. Oh, and we have to roll for the Pennsylvania. 3, it goes 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so since they can move south, we might as well move them because they can be in the way of the Pennsylvania. Not a real crucial, probably not going to impact the game. So the first one, does it move? No. Does this next one move? Yes. 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's how it ends up there. Oh, we should have done that at the end of the turn. I'm sorry. It would keep it the way it is. But so now I want to go on that and burn that Oostanala Bridge. The biggest reason I want to do that is for the 15 points and to keep them from chasing me, because I really don't have much to do. If I go in here and take all the time to get rid of all these encounters, they're going to come up in there, activate the Confederates, and start shooting at me. So I'm going to go 5 minutes and get to the bridge. And then try to burn it. And then I'll go, let's see, I should put a move 5 up there too. Okay? So we move 5, go 2 spaces for 3 wood. And then, oh, I put the wrong card down, but you heard me. I said I was going to try to burn the bridge. And so we're going to do the, I need to get a 10 or better, unless I start using up some wood. Now, I don't have too much wood left. And I have to, there's 2 other things you can do to get wood. You can get emergency wood and a any station, and that gives you 5 more. And you can burn a boxcar that gets you 5 if you're not moving, 3 if you're moving. So if I start using all this up for my rolls to burn this bridge, even though it's important, I'll find that I can't very easily get to Tilton. I'm going to have to go for it, though. I'm going to do 4. And so I'm going to need an 8 or better. Let me roll. Here we go. 3. That didn't do any good. And I'm going to get rid of 4 more wood. I'm going to try. So this will be my last 5 minutes. Roll again. If I get an 8 or better, I got a 9. I burned the bridge. We'll put a burn bridge marker here. And so, just so you know, I'm just on the other side of it. So if they land on it, they can attack me across the bridge. They can shoot at me. It's not going to be great, but they can't keep following me, except much more slowly when they try to swim across. So that was my turn. Now they would roll. I'm saying they, the Fuller, Murphy, Kane, and rolled a 6. They're coming up here. They come all the way up to the bridge. And if you're on the same space and the raiders were not moving, then they can unload and shoot. Okay? That's just the general rule. And if they were moving and they land on them, they get 1 roll. But now they get to turn over everybody that's with them and start shooting. There's, so they have a 10, no, they have a 15, a 2, and a 10, 27 strength. They get 5 rolls. This is not good at all. And they came up just as the bridge started catching fire. They're not going to be able to go across it, but they are in battle with them. And so now we know how strong they are coming up behind us too. And so we're going to roll. The first roll is a 5 and a 1 on the black and yellow, so no hits. Second out of 5 is 3 and a 2. And 3 and a 2, that's 1 hit, so we'll keep track of that. Third roll. Oh, and it was a 4, so somebody's killed. We don't have to keep track, we'll just do it. And we'll put that poor guy there. Third roll is a 3 and a 2 again, and somebody's killed. Fourth roll is a 5 and a 2 is one more, and somebody's killed. Looks like I'm rolling the same thing. So then one more roll, and we got a 2 and a 6. One more hit, and it's somebody killed. So they did catch a few there, didn't they? And then we, like I say, they're on opposite sides of the bridge now, what's left with the train, so they're getting back on the train and heading on is what will be next happening. But we have one train schedule stack that could possibly move south. And it does, of course. And these should go back. And they come down to here. They do move to here. We look to see what all of these are. And here we will unveil them. First is a green. It's going to go back into this stack. Second one is a red flag. It's going to go back into this stack. Third one is another green. So there's no train in our way anyway to this point, and then a time waster. So we have a big stack in Resica to get through. And that's all for their turn, except things that don't matter as much. Oh, we have a burn. Here's a rule. If we have a burn bridge now between the Raiders and the three of these guys chasing them with all the troops, we don't have to roll for any of this southbound stuff. Even the Pennsylvania doesn't matter anymore. It can't, because it would get stopped when it gets there, and they're going to be across. So we won't worry about that. So that's end of that turn. We now see on the time track it says tired engineer. So one of our engineers, top one, has to go in the tired engineers box. If both of them are on there, then there's more chance of collisions and derailments if you start driving with a little recklessness. Okay, so it's the Raiders' turn again. We're going to try to get into Resica and get through that stack. We can go, well, we're going to have to take 10 minutes to get up there in a medium speed and not draw any more attention to ourselves. Then we'll play one green card. Challenges and encounters card. So we're going to go, see, it's only 3 spaces, but on the card it says 4. And I have to use 4 wood. 2, 3. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Because I need to show you this anyway. We're going to play break up boxcar for wood. And it takes, on the card it says, even though it says 15 on here, it says 0 minutes if you're moving, but you only get 3 wood cubes. So we're playing that this turn too, so it's 0 minutes. We get rid of one of the boxcars in our stack of boxcars. There are 3 boxcars on the train. We get rid of one. That's over here. I got rid of one. Right here, and I put it up there. And we gain 3 wood. Okay? So as we moved, we did that. We moved 10, we did this, and now we have 5 minutes. We turn over one of these encounters, and the top one is a green dot. Let's see what we get, because remember, some of these can help us a little bit. I'm gonna roll a die. We got a 1, and that's a nice one. It says, aid from station workers. Choose to do one of the following. turn over 3 face-down encounter counters through intelligence. No, we don't need any more of that. Gain 2 persuasion cubes, so that's good. Or gain back 5 minutes. So if we do that, gain back 5 minutes means we get one more turn to do this. So we're going to do it. And it's a red flag, and it'll go on the time tracker over here. And so that's the end of our turn. I'm going to keep this out because we know we have to do it again. Their turn, they can swim. So all these troops that were on the William R. Smith that were pretty strong, they started in battle a little bit. Just for convenience, we move them back to the last station because they're out of the game. This train would also just moves back to the last station. But we have the 3 guys, Fuller, Murphy, Kane. They now swim. We pull up the swim card. And so we put a swim counter on top of the bridge. And that's what they're doing. And we have to roll the black, yellow, and red dice because they represent, respectively, Fuller, Murphy, and Kane. Anybody that gets a 6 drowns. And Fuller drowned. And remember, we used one of his abilities earlier to go from here to here. Now, can you see what I'm pointing at? One of his abilities, because he was very athletic, is to survive a drowning. So he's going to use that. He's got to put a counter on letter D. Says swim Murphy only re-rolls on a drown throw. So we re-roll the black die. And he did not drown. He almost drowned. And they all crossed. So then the next turn they'd run and hopefully get there before they can get out. And otherwise they only have a pole car that they can chase them with. So there's still, the Raiders, even if that happens and if everything goes right now, they're not home free. They still have a long way to go, passing different station checks, don't run out of wood, getting to Bridgeport in time. So then, as we said, none of this other stuff south of the burned bridge really matters now. So that's the end of that turn. And we're now on 10:45 a.m. Lots happened. We're going to play this 3 times. 1, wasted 5 minutes. 2, we get to roll on a green table again. See what happened. A 1, same thing. So I'm going to gain back the 5 minutes. So I still got 10 minutes left. 5, red flag. That goes past the other one. And green will roll for this green counter. I'm rolling a yellow die, and I'm getting a 3 this time. And so something else happens in the story. A depot worker helps them. I get a choice. I may discard 1 persuasion cube and gain back 5 minutes. You bet. So I get rid of a persuasion cube, and I get to do 1 more. And this will be, I'll be all the way through this stack. And the last one was just wasting 5 more minutes, but I'm through the stack. But you didn't catch me. Maybe you did. I didn't ever roll for the station challenge. Of course, that was free, but I certainly need to do that now, or it would be unfair. So I need a 7, and I got it. So either way, I would have passed that. And so now I'm ready to move out of Resica the next turn. Those that are chasing me now turn to running. And technically we change to the running card now. So it feels like we're ahead, but points-wise, we're not in great shape. And the object is, for these, we're to burn bridges and report back to Bridgeport to General as Mitchell as he was approaching Chattanooga, and let him know what damage they'd done, so he'd know whether or not to continue. And since they didn't show up historically because they all got captured, that was one reason he aborted the attack on Chattanooga. They think an attack, if they'd taken over Chattanooga and cut the railroad between the east and western part of the U.S., Knoxville could have been next, Lynchburg could have been after that, and the war could have been over 2 years earlier. So it was a very daring plan. It did not work out. So that's the end of that turn. We get rid of flag on there. Now they're going to move, but there is still one flag on there. So when they move, it's going to go, the alert level is going to go up one. And so let's see, they're going to move. How many wood do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need to move at least at a 1-to-1 ratio of spaces to wood. We're going to go 6 spaces and 5 with 5 woods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We almost got there. I get rid of 5 woods. 3, 4, 5. We raise the alert level 1 because of this red flag was on here. Take it off. Lost a persuasion cube. All right. And they move 1 more space. There is a special ability that is supposed to be used when you're playing solitaire, that anytime north of Moon Station, they can move 2 in a turn. And so let's use that now as running. All right, so we're using that up. So then they will move to the pole car. There's a chance they could catch them again, because remember, at Tilton, they got to spend 15 minutes loading up with wood. So we now get the pole car out. We look at this before they move. It's a 5. It's too strong to be on the pole car to follow them. Okay, so that's another turn. It's now 11:15 a.m. We're going to move 5 minutes for 1 space for 1 wood, and then we're going to fill up with wood. Okay, 1 space for 1 wood. We're down to 1 wood left, so it was that close. And before we fill up, we have to meet the station challenge, which is only a 6, but we really don't have many persuasion cubes left. A 7, we did it. We can place this up here to remind us. We did our movement. Now we take on wood. We have 10 minutes, so we can take on 30. So doing some math here real quickly, that leaves 14 out. 3, 7, 30. So we can put all these back on. Okay, and we are done with our part of the turn. Fuller, Murphy, Kane, go 2. They couldn't go 3 because the next one was a dangerous track. It's the end of another turn. Turn's going to go quickly now. 11:30 a.m. Let's see if I can change the viewpoint a little bit here. And so it's our turn. We're going to do fill the rest of the wood up, and then we have 10 minutes to move. So we fill the wood. And then we can move 10 minutes. If we go fast, we could go 8 spaces, but we'd be going over dangerous track and have to roll for possibly derailment. So we're going to go medium. We'll go 4 for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll give up 4 wood after loading up. They can only go 2 spaces because of the dangerous track. That's the end of another turn. We're now at 11:45 a.m. Now, Dalton, we don't want to stop there. We do have to remember 2 things about Dalton, which is at the bottom of the screen here, that we need to cut the telegraph wire as soon as possible, and we need to start burning bridges to get some points. We can look and see where we are with points now pretty easily. That's why there isn't really a points tracker. 2 for each cuts, 4 plus 15 for that big bridge. That was great. So we're at 19. But then we subtract out 2 points for each of these raiders that was killed. There's 6. So 12. So even though I said we were 19 minus 12, we're at 7 points is all. So we need to really burn a lot more, do some more damage. Okay, so we don't want to stop in Dalton. We want to get past it and cut wire. So how many spaces is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So why don't we go for 15 minutes? We'll just simply go 6 spaces for 5 wood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We passed right on through Dalton. Nothing was there to hold us up. We do have to stop at Tunnel Hill Station because there's that counter there in the challenges box. So I got to get rid of 5 wood. And done. Out of the tinder. They move 2 more spaces, sort of rough terrain up that way, so they're not making really great time. That's the end of another. We would roll if the Pennsylvania wasn't in, but it is. It's now noon, and historically that's when the Pennsylvania entered into Big Shanty. So let's see. So let's see what we next want to do. Like I said, we need to cut the wire. Might as well do that. And try to burn a bridge. So let's cut the wire for 5 minutes. Let's move 5 minutes. And let's try to burn a bridge. And remember, the next wood station is way up here in Boyce. And so we go cut the telegraph wire. We put the last cut. That's the last place we need to cut. Unfortunately, we go up an alert level when that happens. We lose 1 more persuasion cube. We're in pretty bad shape for persuasion cubes. We do want more. Chattanooga has a station challenge of 8, and there's a train in there, the Chattanooga military train, which is another challenge of 8. So it's a little bit hard to get through. And so we cut the telegraph wire. We're now going to move. So might as well try this first bridge. If you burn a bridge successfully 1 space away from a station, that also raises the alert level by 1. But more than 1 space does not. So we're moving here, 1 space for 1 wood. Give up the wood. Then let's don't use any wood on this try. Let's see if we can get the 10 or higher. Gonna roll it. And I got a 10. Finally. We'll put that here. So that means I'm not worried anymore about them chasing me. I'm not worried about them sending a telegraph message, because see, then they'd have to stop even with a pole car, swim, run to the next station. all this sort of thing. So what can get me would be not too much, except I have to pass the check up at Boyce to get more wood, and Chattanooga, and I just need to move along before time runs out, get to Bridgeport with as many burned bridges as I can. So succeeded so far right there. And they move into Tilton. They stop at every station on the way up. We can look and see what the value of this is. It's a 2. That would give them a roll if they do catch up to me. And that's the end of that turn. We're now well over here, 12:15. And so you really have to start gauging your time and your wood and everything to time it to get through there right and still burn bridges. So this is another good bridge to burn. My turn, I'll do move 5, burn, set fire to the bridge, and move 5. But you don't want to piddle down here too far south because might not make it to the end, and that's, you get 20 points for bringing a train into Bridgeport. So that really pretty much, you've done some damage down here. You're guaranteed to win in that fashion. Okay. So we move 5, going 2 spaces to try to get this bridge too. Costs 3 wood. And we'll do a roll. Set fire to bridge. We need a 10. And I rolled 6 and 3 is a 9. So we'll take our time a little bit right here, but not for too long. We'll roll again. And I got a 4. So that was the end of that turn. And they're going to move 2 out of here. And that's the end of the total turn. We're now at 12:30. Okay. We'll do this in a move 5. So we can see, we can always use the move 5 twice if we're successful. So I'm going to roll the dice. I can put this out. You can see it up here. Roll 9. Should have wagered some wood, huh? Let's do it again. So I'm trying to conserve a little wood. 9, a different 9. And got to keep moving forwards. I'm going to give up 4 wood. And now I need an 8 or above. 10, got it. Now I'm having some success. And I didn't get to move or anything. They're chasing me. They're going through rough terrain, so dangerous track. They only move 2. Hard going for them. And it's another turn. And so now we're going to put some, we have to stop at that station. So I have to go, for instance, 10 minutes, go 4 for 4. And then a challenge is an encounter. And I have to pass that Tunnel Hill Station check too. No soldiers there. No threat in that sense. I'll go 4 for 4 wood. And in the basic game, you can only cannibalize for wood 2 of your 3 boxcars. There's an optional rule where they would ride in the tinder, but it does have some detrimental effect. So we've used 10 minutes of movement. And now I have to do the station challenge. So I have to roll a 6. And I did it. Then that was for free. Now we use the challenge as an encounter card. And it's green, so it might be something that gives me more. Now notice, I didn't put a move 5 there. So if I gain back 5 minutes, it's really not going to help me. Because I could only put 15 minutes worth of stuff anyway. Again, sort of the friction of the conflict. Okay, we roll one die. Let's roll the red. And got a 3. And it says over here, depot worker helps. I can discard one persuasion cube and gain back 5 minutes. And like I just said, it doesn't do me any good. So they're plugging along. 1, 2. Next turn they can move into Dalton. 3. And that's another turn here. And that just says that the Pennsylvania definitely comes in if it hasn't come in before. And so now I can leave. And I think the next nice target to burn would be this middle bridge, since it's not right next to a station. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How about move 6 spaces in 15 minutes for 5 wood? 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'll try that the next turn. And I use up 5 wood. Watching my tinder deplete. And like I said, they move 1, 2, 3 into Dalton. And they send a telegraph message out. Wire's been cut, so does no good. 2 burned bridges ahead of them. They don't have much a chance of doing anything. So it's really just up to my skill to time this right, not run out of wood, and to get enough points. So it's getting later in the afternoon. By the way, on the time track, it ends at 4 p.m. over there, right? And for every turn you reach Bridgeport before 4, you gain 1 point just because you got there early. Okay, here they are in Dalton. Okay, so again, let's move. I'm going to wager all 4 with trying to burn the bridge. And then the safest thing to use a card would be to put a move 5. So if I did this twice to burn the bridge, and that took 10 minutes, and if I put a move 10 there, I couldn't play it. Because that's why the 5-minute moves are really valuable, even though they're not always the best mileage. So I wagered 4 wood cubes, which gives me a die roll modifier of 2. So if I get an 8 or above, I burn this bridge too. Let's do it again, because that was angling off. So 3, no good. And so let's do it again, and I'm not going to use up any wood to do it, so a 10 or above. Nope. One more time. 7. Nope. Might run out of luck on this one. And they go 1, 2. Then they're going to have to swim afterwards, after me. No good. We'll play it through for them, though. Get to here. All right. So time just to make some moves. Let's go 6 for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in other words, I played the 15-minute move card. Use up 5 wood. And they change to swim. They lose their soldiers they had with them. And let's see how they fare swimming. Roll black, yellow, red for Fuller, Murphy, King. Any 6s drown. And 2 of them drown. 2, Fuller and Murphy drowned. And so they were turned over. And way over here, we just turn their cards over. Upside down. We'll put their little pieces on the deceased side. And only Kane is pursuing anymore. It's that turn. Better get moving. So, 15, let's see. We'll go. Now that I think the goal is just to get to Bridgeport. Just take some turns here. So this is going to be a little tight. Let's see. Let's go. I don't want to lose my persuasion cubes by going fast through stations. So let's try again. 6 for 5. 1, 2, 3, 6 for 5 wood. All right. Poor Kane is running by himself. That's the end of another turn. It's 2 p.m. We got 2 hours to get to Bridgeport, and the next engineer is tired. That means instead of rolling like over dangerous track going fast, we usually have to roll 3 dice, and if we get 2 6s, it's derailed. Now you roll 4 dice, and collision would be much more possible, likely too. But there's no train coming south, and there won't be. So now we're going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do 2 things here. We're going to do 15 minutes. And by the way, if you can see my finger, this is about where they ran out of fuel, out of wood in real life and abandoned the train, and we're all ended up captured just north of Ringgold. And so they're going to go 6 for 5, and they're also going to use that other card where we break up the boxcar for wood, 0 minutes, and we get 3 wood. So this gets rid of another boxcar, and in reality the raiders are moving from one boxcar to the next, and so now they're a little train with 1 boxcar. There were 2 more stacked. Of course, it could be more fun to stretch out your boxcar if you're playing this, but this just conserves space. And they get 3 more wood for doing that. But they went 6 for 5, so 3, 4, 5. And I got to move that. Or did I move it? Say I did move it. And so that's the situation with that. Actually, I don't think I did. We'll look back and find out if I'm cheating. 1, 2, 3, 6. Got to there. And we move this. So poor guy back here goes to the next place. He's going to have to swim next turn. And just move that time thing, right? Yeah. And so now they have to go into Boyce to get more wood. So they'll go 5 minutes to get there and do 10 minutes of wood. And that will get them enough. So they move 3 wood to get there. They have 5 left, period. And now they're going to add in 30. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 26, and 30. That, to me, looks like enough wood to get to Bridgeport. So that's their turn. He's going to swim. Of course, none of this matters at this point, except for the story. So he get a roll of 6. Nope. He didn't drown. He got to the other side. And, okay, now I'm feeling guilty. I'm going to lose myself one turn because I'm wondering if I did move twice that turn. So, say I'll stay there for a turn to make up for it. He runs, and we still have that card out anyway. And it's this turn, got used up. So now, got to get through Chattanooga. Gonna use, gonna be tight. So here's what I need to do. Need to move 15. 1, 2, 3. I need more persuasion cubes to get through Chattanooga to have a chance. So I'm going to move 15, and I'm going to go slowly. 4 spaces for 3 wood. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still on the Texas. It's the stolen train. And it takes 3 wood. I'm right outside of Chattanooga. He runs, doesn't matter, goes 15 more minutes. Now, I'm going to play the rest and plot card. And what I can do is gain 4 persuasion cubes as long as I don't do anything else. So I'm resting and plot, I'm not moving. And the card gets discarded from the deck after being used once. So I'm going to add 4 persuasion cubes here. They're just getting their wits about them, making a plan how they're going to get through. He runs, coming down to the end. So now I'm going to move 5, and that would put me in Chattanooga. Can you see? Yep, right down here. And then I have to do a regular station check, challenge, and then 1 for this train. So that will really just take that 5 minutes. Then I'll move 5 more minutes, assuming everything goes correctly. There are a lot of Confederate units here. There's one of those 5 CSA units is a 20 value, 20 strength. So I'm moving 1. I'll go slowly on in. Used up 1 wood. Put this up in the Raiders section. This will go in the challenges. And I have to do this challenges of 8. And I only have 6 cubes to play with. Got a 12. Did it. So then, that was for free. Now using the green card, I have a challenge of 8 for the military train that's sitting there. Got a 9. Did it. So I got through Chattanooga. This goes into successful challenges. Then I move 5. And notice there's a dangerous track right there. I don't want to go fast over it if I don't have to. So I'll go medium, which is 2 spaces for 3. Wood I'm in fine shape with now. Should be home free on this. So Boardgame's moving up there. It's going through Tunnel Hill. Big long tunnel. And move this. So now I want to go, I don't want to go fast over this and have to be risky and derail it just for 1 point to get there in 1 turn or something. So I'm going to do 15 minutes. Go 6 medium. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 5 wood. 4, 5. And he goes in here and gets his pole car. He's so far behind. Nothing they could do that couldn't catch up or get the word out. And no soldiers there anyway. So now I'm going to play the same card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can make it for 6. I can only go 5 and go to Bridgeport. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plenty of wood. Report to General Mitchell that we burned 3 bridges. We got, if you look back at the board, so 15 for this bridge, 6 for each of these. That's 12. That's 27. Plus 6 for 3 cut telegraphs. 27. That's 33 points. We add 20 for getting there. 53 points. And that was actually there. So we'll add one more point before 4 o'clock. 54 points minus 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 for the killed raiders. So 54, so it goes down to 44. It goes down to 42. And so what, if you look at the level of victory, we got 42 points, and 16 to 50 is a Union victory. But I needed 51 to get a strategic Union victory. So I have not achieved the greatest victory, but we really did a whole lot of what we set out to do, destroyed the biggest bridge. Hope you enjoyed this and learned from it. I think we came across most situations that you would come across within a game. Thank you very much.